be pretty weak-willed because all it took was falling in love with a man, and now I'm like, not really. I mean, I'm a feminist, but like, kind of. I don't really need my maiden name. I don't really need it. I like your last name better anyway. Like, I'll just take that. I know he can do his own laundry. I know that he can clean the house, but I want to do it for him. I want to cook all his meals. I want to make sure he's getting all his whole grains, all his vegetables. I want to make sure he's getting all that protein. He has not asked any of this of me. It just kind of naturally kicks in. Like these instincts just kind of come out of like, oh, now I have to take care of you when you're sick. Oops, I made you breakfast and it fits all of your dietary requirements. My bad. I think I got possessed by a housewife. Is that what happens?
And that
What does a man need to do to get you guys to notice him?
Very simple. We want a man who acts like a man, who's manly, who takes care of things.
leader.
I don't need you to kill an alligator with your hands, but I need to feel so feminine around you because you are so masculine that I can turn my brain off because I know you've got it.
Yeah.
I trust you. I trust your intellect. I trust your character. I trust that I can close my eyes and follow you blindly and I'm going to be happy about where I end up. That's what it's about, and we're all set.
Your certainty and her desire has an inverse relationship. The higher the certainty level that you give, okay, the higher your certainty level rises, where she knows that you're certain about her and that you like her, the more certainty you show, the lower her desire. The less certainty you show, the higher her desire. Certainty and desire has an inverse relationship.
Some women still have the audacity to embrace traditional roles, finding genuine fulfillment in homemaking and supporting their spouse's authority. But enter modern feminism, with its sanctimonious preaching and disdainful sneers, pushing an agenda of so-called liberation and equality that bullies traditional women into submission. Society relentlessly bombards them with liberal ideologies that glorify individual autonomy and scoffs at any notion of roles as outdated or regressive. Feminism loves to scream empowerment, yet shamelessly ignores that empowerment also means choosing to be a homemaker if that's what a woman wants. Third-wave feminism and pop culture have brainwashed modern women into believing they're superwomen, capable of everything under the sun, while reducing men to mere props in their lives. This media-driven delusion pushes men to the sidelines, treating them like disposable accessories in women's grandiose plans. It's no surprise that movements like men going their own way are gaining momentum. Men are waking up and rejecting this lopsided misandrist game. And here's the kicker. While feminism loves to prattle on about respecting diverse choices, it viciously tears down those who dare to choose a traditional path. The hypocrisy is glaring. Real empowerment means respecting all choices, not just the ones that fit the feminist narrative. If feminism can't wrap its head around that, then it's no better than the oppressive systems it claims to be fighting against.
And that, my friends, is a woman crossing over from radical feminism to true feminism. Radical feminism has taught her that, like, accepting anything from a man means you're less of a woman, that he has control over you and blah, blah, blah. But real feminism is about how men and women can work together for, like, something beautiful, for a good future, for a beautiful love together. You know what I mean? Like, relationships back then were far less about what I can get from a man and more about what can we provide from each other. For each other. You know what I mean. A lot of women, when they fall in love, they realize, like, they realize about what they call this divine femininity, the feminine energy, you know? They're like, oh shit, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being, like, submissive to my man. Because when people hear the word submissive, they always think, like, someone's down on their knees, like, barking when he says bark, you know what I mean? But it's not really about that. Submission is about trusting somebody to make good decisions for you, to keep you safe. We just tend to use submission in, like, a bad context a lot of the times, you know? And believe it or not, there are times when men 100% submit to their women all the time. In fact, studies show that wives, they are like the majority stakeholders in decision making in the household, okay? But men, they make like, the dads make the big decisions, but the moms, they make the everyday decisions that keep the household going. So yeah, real feminism doesn't care if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, if you want to go out and be a businesswoman, if you want to take his last name, if you want to keep your last name. Radical feminists will tell you that you are less of a woman and that you have just succumbed to misogyny. It really goes to show that we are not okay with women holding any sort of gender roles, but we are okay placing men in the exact same gender roles they've been in since like forever. The father of my children is the stay-at-home dad, and people straight up think he's less of a man because I'm the breadwinner. Okay, well, fair enough. Do you think that a woman is less of a woman if she goes out and works? Most people think it's fine to sell your butthole for $3.99. Hide the household products at my cooter for $4.99. Come on now. Thank you.
You know, this is something my wife has pointed out too. She said, well, men are going to have to stand up for themselves. But here's the problem. I know how to stand up to a man who's unfairly trespassing against me. And the reason I know that is because the parameters for my resistance are quite well defined, which is we talk, we argue, we push, and then it becomes physical, right? Like if we move beyond the boundaries of civil discourse, we know what the next step is. Okay, that's forbidden in discourse with women. And so I don't think that men can control crazy women. I really don't believe it. I think that they have to throw their hands up in it's not even disbelief. It's that there's no step forward that you can take under those circumstances, because if the man is offensive enough and crazy enough, the reaction becomes physical right away, or at least the threat is there. And when men are talking to each other in any serious manner, that underlying threat of physicality is always there, especially if it's a real conversation, and it keeps the thing civilized to some degree. You know, if you're talking to a man who wouldn't fight with you under any circumstances whatsoever, then you're talking to someone to whom you have absolutely no respect. But I can't see any way. For example, there's a woman in Toronto who's been organizing this movement, let's say, against me and some other people who are going to do a free speech event, and she managed to organize quite effectively, and she's quite offensive, you might say. She compared us to Nazis, for example, which, you know, publicly, using the swastika, which wasn't really something I was all that fond of. But I'm defenseless against that kind of female insanity, because the techniques that I would use against a man who is employing those tactics are forbidden to me. So I don't know, like, it seems to me that it isn't men that have to stand up and say enough of this, even though that is what they should do. It seems to me that it's sane women who have to stand up against their crazy sisters and say, look, enough of that, enough man-hating, enough pathology, enough bringing disgrace on us as a gender. But the problem there, and then I'll stop my little tirade, is that most of the women I know who are sane are busy doing sane things, right? They're off, they have their career, they have their family, they're quite occupied, and they don't seem to have the time or maybe even the interest to go after their crazy harpy sisters. And so I don't see any regulating force for that terrible femininity. And it seems to me to be invading the culture and undermining the masculine power of the culture in a way that's, I think, fatal.
Conservative women, we just do it better. We look better, we feel better, and we are happier because we don't drown ourselves with irrational emotions, and we know we are doing the right thing.
Here's the reality. Women do not hate nice men. That's just not true. But what we do dislike is men who lack masculinity. Now, a lot of nice guys tend to be men who also lack other masculine traits that women find attractive. And what they do is they blame their nice nature as to why they have no success with women, when really it has nothing to do with their niceness, but everything to do with their lack of masculinity. And it's quicker and easier to blame it on your nice nature. But really, if you take a man who is super, super nice, but he's still masculine, he's still risk-taking, he's still a leader, he still has boundaries. When you take a man who still has masculine traits and is nice, he ends up having hyper success with women. But when you take a man who's nice by default because he can't exercise his masculinity, of course women are not going to find that attractive.
Critics of third-wave feminism and its cozy relationship with pop culture are having a field day, especially with movies like Barbie, a film that seems to epitomize this alliance. Shakira didn't hold back when asked about her thoughts on Barbie*, the female-directed blockbuster that somehow raked in $1.4 billion worldwide in 2023 and snagged 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. The music icon echoed her son's strong dislike for the movie, hinting that it robbed men of their possibility to be men. "My sons hated it," Shakira said bluntly. "They felt it was emasculating, and I agree to a certain extent. I'm raising 2 boys. I want them to feel powerful too, while respecting women. I appreciate pop culture when it tries to empower women without stripping men of their essence, their roles as protectors and providers. I believe in equipping women with all the tools to succeed without losing our femininity." Shakira didn't mince words when she elaborated on the traditional roles men and women play. "I think men have a purpose in society, and women have another," she added. "We complement each other, and that balance should not be lost." "Just because a woman can do it all doesn't mean she should?" the interviewer prodded. "Why not share the load with those who deserve to carry it, who are meant to carry it as well?" Shakira shot back. Shakira's views are hardly the first to call out Barbie* for being emasculating. The film sparked outrage among conservative voices during its release, with podcaster Matt Walsh labeling it the most aggressively anti-man feminist propaganda fest ever put to film. Bill Maher also slammed the movie, calling it a man-hating spectacle. Meanwhile, Greta Gerwig, who co-wrote the Barbie* script with Noah Baumbach, seemed genuinely baffled by the backlash. In an interview with the New York Times, she said, "Certainly, there's a lot of passion. My hope for the movie is that it's an invitation for everyone to join the party and let go of the things that aren't serving us, whether we're women or men. I hope that in all this passion, if they see the film or engage with it, it can offer some of the relief it provided to others." But let's be real. When a film that supposedly invites everyone to the party ends up making a significant portion of its audience feel unwelcome, maybe it's time to reconsider who the party is really for. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal, link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.